and weird. Um, it just seems
Oh, I don't see it. Do I have to register?
yes, you do have to register.
No, I'm gonna go to your calendar and see it.
Good
No.
evening, friend. I am frustrating my coworker because she has to register for our meeting.
I have the Zoom password.
and I'm not letting her get away with it. Good evening. How is everyone? Thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate everyone being here. It's such a nice evening. I'm in Charleston today. Got here earlier, here for our federal town hall tomorrow. So I thought I'd get here a little early so I can hit the ground running tomorrow with last minute details and stuff. So I hope everyone is doing well. And okay, we are recording. Good. All right. So if you want to put your name, your pronouns, where you're from, and let's see, what's a good icebreaker? Do you have an icebreaker question, Danny?
Big spring plans, what you're
Yeah.
planting in your garden. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
I can't hear you, Mindy.
Mumbling at
That is
myself.
because we are mumbling at one another.
Oh, I see. Got it.
We are right across from each other.
Oh, I see. There we go.
Yeah, if for the folks.
Maybe I need to go up to my office. I'll be back, y'all. Hi, Shayla.
Hey, Danny.
Hey, Shayla's here. Thanks for coming. Oh, Carol's here.
I just got done
Excited to have
chasing
you
my
guys.
dog.
You want to
so
put
that's
your
why I'm out of
name,
breath.
your where you're from, your pronouns, and what are you excited about for spring in the chat. We will get started here in just a second as soon as Danny and I get settled. We're in new places today. We're both in Charleston and we just ran out for dinner real fast and came back and trying to get ourselves in a group here. So bear with us just a moment. I hope everybody is enjoying the warm weather we seem to be getting. At least I hope it plans to stay. I am really over any signs of winter. I don't know about the rest of you. I just am not a fan. Okay, I think we've got, as Danny always likes to say, our poop in a group. So glad to have everyone. Oh, you love spring, and so do your cats. I bet that's awesome. And Paul is excited about sunny, warmer weather. Yes. No more 20 degrees, Shayla. That's right. Ah, Jody, her plans are fighting fascism, hiking, and backpacking. I love it. Love, love, love it. Got like a glare from the sun on the back, so I'm gonna scooch this way so I don't have to worry about that. So welcome everyone. Sorry it took me a minute to get organized, but so glad to have you here for our April healthcare meeting. Danny and I are recovering from the nightmare of a legislative session we seem to have had. It was certainly the worst of my memory of 52 years. So I don't
I've been
know how
at this
Danny.
for a decade. I've been following the legislature since 2015 and working there in some capacity since 2015. And in my 10 years, this is hands down the worst it has ever been. So yeah, welcome to the other side, friends. It just felt more hostile. It felt more removed from folks, and it was, yeah, the vibes were just off, for lack of a better term. I promise I'm an elder millennial, but I don't know how else to describe it. The vibes were just terrible. And we didn't have any real proactive bills to throw our lot behind. We had a handful here and there, but not like it has been in the past. It was so much defense work. I'll rest my case and let Mindy finish.
No, I mean, I feel that is so valid, particularly from a healthcare perspective. There wasn't really any, well, there was the doula bill, but it got, I think, the furthest it's gotten in the legislature, and then on the last day died in finance, which is really disheartening, because I know West Virginia Center for Budget and Policy has really been working on that for child maternal health, and particularly women of color who could really benefit from services like that would really help increase healthy outcomes for moms and their babies. So yeah, that was really disappointing. But I really honestly can't think of one positive bill that was introduced. It was just a lot of, we've got to fight to make this bill at least not as horrible as it is. Fortunately, they did try twice to get vaccine exemptions through a couple shady ways by kind of bypassing their own laws, which was kind of interesting to witness. But we were able to defeat those and get those out of circulation, so to speak. We were able to make a lot of noise behind the Medicaid trigger bill that would have, if the federal government had reduced the Medicaid budget by even a penny, it would have triggered this bill that was up, and it would have completely eliminated Medicaid expansion in West Virginia. And that would have been incredibly detrimental. So for so many West Virginians. And so we had a lot of folks come and raise the alarm. We had a press conference with several other organizations, the West Virginia Center for Budget and Policy, West Virginians for Affordable Health Care were involved. And so that was successful. We had some folks from, we had people all over. We had affected people come and, share their stories, which was, just incredibly powerful. We had folks who were CEOs of rural health hospitals come. And one gentleman had been a two-time Trump voter and was, a staunch Republican, but said, this is, this will decimate the rural health system in West Virginia. So I think enough of us raised some alarm on that. They're claiming they got some reassurance from the federal government, or federal contingency or contingents up in DC, who said that we're not going to touch Medicaid or the match, so you don't have to worry about that. So they did pull the bill. So that we're very grateful for that. Does anybody have any bills or anything that they were concerned about, or had questions on that we could try and answer for you?
I lost or Wi-Fi signal there for a minute, but if you hadn't reminded folks, we are going to do a full legislative wrap up. Most of our staff is off work this week because of all the overtime that we put in during the session. So we hope to have that to you by next week. Toward the middle of the week, we usually shoot for a Wednesday. So we'll have a full wrap up of all of the bills that all of our lobbyists worked on. And with West Virginia Citizen Action, that's Gary Zuckett and Julie Archer and myself on staff, as well as two full-time lobbyists that we paid. So we had eyes on a lot of bills. Not all of them healthcare. We also do the democracy and the climate work. And there was a lot of climate work this session. But yeah, look for that on Wednesday of next week. And if there's anything that you would like us to report on in depth, or if there's anything we can give you a call to talk about, we would love to meet with you.
And Mary said she has a remark on HB 2755. So if you want to come off mute and remark on that, that would be great.
Bless your heart. Can you hear me?
We sure can.
Okay. Thank you so much. I called Gary about 2755, and I told the senators that I would see a lawyer about suing them if they voted for it. We voted, first of all, the issue of the legislature supervising the State Board of Education was settled in 1988 by the Supreme Court. We voted just less than 2.5 years ago and reconfirmed that by 58%. Okay. Well, and they can't override our vote. What they did was unconstitutional. So I told them to, on 3 counts, they were not qualified. First of all, they didn't get to the big bills of our big concerns like foster care, child care, roads, bridges, and on, staffing, infrastructure. And number 2, they most of them have no background in education. And number 3, they're breaking the law in doing this. So on 3 counts, they are not to oversee learning in this state, in our state. Okay. So I'm sorry. I was right in the middle of eating. So I'm not.
Oh, no problem.
I'm not very coherent, but anyway, so whatever you folks can do to help me, I called the WVAFT, okay, and I talked to one of the lobbyists. Let's see, it was Jessica. I'm not sure of her last name. Anyway, she said the Board of Education was going to sue, and I said, well, you know, it is absolutely essential. We actually are the true plaintiffs in any suit, in that we are the voters, and they just swept us aside. They cannot do that. So anyway, I asked to join on, and that 12 to 20 of us could sign a petition and represent all voters in West Virginia. 12 to 20 from around the state. So whatever you guys think, if you can help me in making that suggestion, I'm going to contact them again and see if we made any progress.
Okay, if you can send me whatever you have, we will definitely. Danny is a former teacher, so she has your back there.
Former union leader too.
Yes.
Yeah, at the local and the state level. So yeah, absolutely. The unions might have a little trouble wrapping their arms around this at the moment because their hands are pretty full with the consolidation. But this is important. Yeah, this is important enough. They need to get on it for sure. And I'm happy to pull some strings and lean on people that I have personal relationships with from my former life, for sure.
Well, I'm happy to contribute to costs or whatever. It just, if you know of any lawyers, any way to help, please. You guys have my email, so I'll call them again and remake the suggestion. But we are the true the voters are the true plaintiffs in the case.
And we work pretty closely with Sarah Duncan from the Center on Budget and Policy, who's leading the Together for West Virginia Schools initiative, sort of pushing back against the Hope Scholarship. And she might have a good idea of who to get a hold of on that as well. So yeah, let's bring it in. Let's work together.
Okay,
sure.
Bless your heart. Thank you so much. Please let me know.
Absolutely. And Mary, I put my email in the chat. So if you need to follow up with me, do so, please.
Yeah, we've got your email too, Mary. So we'll get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And, in that vein, that was really one of my big complaints about this legislative session is that, and this all deals in healthcare because everything it all circles back, environment, our rights, our democracy, education, everything, health, it all, circles back on each other. And we didn't do anything to help with PEIA that is just in a disaster right now. We did nothing to help our teachers and service personnel with, to fix this problem that is, except just allow, them to have greater, copays and deductibles and just everything. It's extremely frustrating that nothing was done to help those folks. And we did nothing for the foster care system. Yes, Danny.
I have heard, and I don't want to substantiate this rumor. I cannot substantiate this rumor, but Mike Tony is on the call, so maybe he knows better than I do. But I have heard rumors that there is going to be, Mary, you're on it.
Mary.
Special
All
sessions. Mary knows what's up. I've heard there's
Okay.
going to be special sessions on PEIA and teacher pay. And I feel fairly confident. I don't want to speak for anybody who's not present, but I know that it is one of our priorities as well as a priority of a number of organizations to try to make sure that handling the childcare crisis is addressed in any special session or is at least on people's minds. And we know that that's an unsolved current issue. So yeah, like Mindy was saying, everything is intersectional. When I was a special education teacher, I spent hours every month filling out Medicaid billing. Right. There is no divorcing any of these issues from one another. Sorry about my soapbox.
No. And Danny, we did nothing about the budget though either, did we? Are we going to have to go into special session for that?
No, they passed the budget.
Oh, they did pass the budget. Okay. I'm somehow missed that. Okay. It was a wild roller coaster ride, friends. So
Mindy probably tuned in for the DEI mess toward the end. But
yeah.
I wasn't there.
I was there. That was terrible. And I refuse to say just DEI. I always spell it out. I always say diversity, equity, and inclusion because that is just what those pieces are. That's what they mean. And you can reduce it down to DEI, but it encompasses so much more. And as someone who relies on accessibility and equality and those things as a type 1 diabetic in the workplace, I need, I have needs there, and that diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, yes, cover those things and help it make it possible so that it's legal for me in a workplace to take a break when I need to have a snack or, to check my blood sugar and those things. And so those things are very important to all of us. And it's so much more than what our state and federal government want to make them out to be. And so, as you can see, I have a lot of frustration over this current session. Does anybody else have any questions or anything that Danny and I can try and answer? I think between the two of us, we've probably watched a lot of stuff. So we can probably at least figure it out for you if you have any questions. Oh, you're welcome, Rachel.
I'm not going to lie. I spent the majority of my time following HB 2014 because CAG also works a lot in climate. And if you guys are interested in any of that, there are some fascinating tax and municipal and county budget implications. An interesting coalition of folks who did not expect to be, the joke was strange bedfellows, all of us working to try to do the least harm with that bill that we could and get everything done as quickly as possible. So yeah, come hang out at the climate meeting if you've got big feelings about any of those things too.
Is that the microgrid, Danny?
Among so many other things, yes. In fact, it is.
Oh, and this is a bill that does affect healthcare in West Virginia. Because we all remember the water crisis in Charleston when our companies decided, that putting things into the Kanawha River were just fabulous, and and we all got poisoned water. We couldn't drink the water. My mother broke out into hives when she tried to take a shower, like 2 weeks or something after, the whole boil water, whatever. I don't even think you could boil the water for a while. But we did defeat the tank bill. Is that correct, Danny? That was going to allow lesser restrictions on.
Yeah, and
You might be able to explain this more succinctly than I can.
you have a lot of faith in me this late in the day after the week we've had. But yeah, there was we call it the zombie bill. I remember back when I first started working with CAG in 2021, that very first session during the COVID lockdown, when the House of Delegates said they weren't going to be having any public hearings on bills because of the COVID shutdown, we had a people's public hearing about this exact same damn bill, if I may be so frank, the repealing pieces of the Above Ground Storage Tank Act. And we have slowly chipped away at that since 2014. It's gone from regulating, and I don't want to get these numbers wrong, I have them in my notes, but it was 60,000 tanks, if I'm not mistaken. And I'll put that in the chat after I have looked it up, because I don't want to lie to you. Down to regulating like a tenth of that is my understanding. And so that has to do with zones of concern, is what they're called. And that is the proximity of the tank to drinking water intake. So yeah, we'd love to have you to talk about the intersectionality of it. The climate team is doing really, really cool things. Do a lot of air monitoring, water monitoring, opposing these data centers, opposing the Arch 2, the false solution of frac to gas being turned into hydrogen, in order to pave the way for the clean energy future. No future with fracking is the cleaner solution when renewables are right there. So yeah, we'd love to have you hang. And that it's never more obvious how intersectional the whole thing is than during the session. But I won't take up any more time. That's my pet project. I come to this work by way of OVEC. So I've been around the enviro side for a long time.
And Danny, Rachel is in the chat, and you might want to connect with her. She is an environmentalist, so it looks like she's someone right up your alley. So, we got out of the state legislative session, I don't think terribly worse for wear. I mean, we survived. We were able to lessen some of the bad things, so that they're not so terrible. I think everybody is kind of just shell-shocked and exhausted from how just, completely, it felt like things were blowing up daily. So I think we were all on action alerts every day. But so let's move on to federal and what we can do, because we still haven't gotten the budget from the federal government. I think both the House and the Senate have passed their own versions, but they're going to have to figure out how those two are going to come together and pass one big, beautiful budget. Both Capito, well, actually all of them, Capito, Moore, Justice, and Miller have all said that, I don't know if I've heard so much from Miller. I don't think I've heard a word. Of course, I'm not in her district. I'm in I'm in Riley Moore's district up in Morgantown. And but both Capito and Moore have, come out over and over and over stating, we're not touching Medicaid, not touching Medicaid, we're not touching Medicaid. And then over the past 2 weeks, they've said, well, we're going to have to make cuts to Medicaid. So we're not done fighting. We're going to have to, kind of pony up, and they are on a 2-week recess right now. I'm probably going to have to bite my tongue over where Riley Moore is right now, but
I'll drop
Am
it
I-
in the chat. I'm not afraid.
Okay. Actually, I'm not afraid to say it. I was afraid you'd get it.
No.
Well, I'll say it. It was a great photo op for him, wasn't it?
It was a disgusting
Sure.
photo op.
It was.
Sure as heck
Oh,
was.
He is in El Salvador visiting the detention center, where yeah, I say that people have been renditioned, not deported. They've been renditioned.
Mary and Rachel, I feel like we should offer you a stipend. Do you want to come hang out more? We can pay you a little bit. We're a nonprofit, so like we're not gonna pay you a lot. None of us make a lot.
We can pay in a lot of laughs.
Yeah, it's camaraderie here. We try to keep each other from going insane. But it is worth noting. Oh, hey, there's Kim. It is worth noting that we are interested at the state level, us as West Virginia Citizen Action, as well as People's Action at the federal level, in what that trip cost. And that is
Yes.
information that we intend to pursue along with all the other organizations that have had folks make those trips. Organizations in states where electeds have made those trips. Let me be real specific with what I say there.
Yeah.
And so Rachel, to your point, how much did that trip cost taxpayers? I want the answer for you real quick. And then Mary here on the gun all the time, the metaphorical one, of course, getting right ahead of what we're about to say, because Mindy is about to talk to you about something, and I've got a nice little link for y'all to sign up if you choose to join us for that too. Mindy, take it away.
So tomorrow we are having a federal town hall, and I'm just going to read the banner that's hanging here in our conference room. It says, "Make billionaires pay taxes," in quotes. But so it is going to be an empty chair town hall, as I did invite all 4 of our electeds to that town hall. It's here in Charleston. Starts tomorrow at 5:30. It's at the UU Church on the Boulevard. And I think Danny's going to drop the registration link for that if you want to attend, or feel free to pass it on to somebody you know that might be in the area that would want to attend. We are going to discuss things like Medicaid and things that we can do, and how we can still fight back. Yes, we have alerted the press as well. They got it. I'm sure if Mike Tony's still here, he knows. At least I hope he does. So we're going to let people vent their frustrations. We're going to live stream it, and make it public, the questions that people have, and that instead of being here answering those questions, Riley Moore is in El Salvador taking thumbs up pictures with people who have not been afforded due process in a prison. I find personally, I'm not speaking for CAG, I find that personally disgusting. And it has not benefited any West Virginia citizens. I don't know. He's obviously not there trying to get the individual who was mistakenly, as they are saying, deported, I say renditioned, to El Salvador. He's not there trying to bring him home. He's there to show, and I was told today by someone from Riley Moore's office that he was there to show support for Trump's agenda. So that's an awfully expensive trip to say that you support an agenda. I don't care what side of the aisle you are on, or where you where you fall on the political spectrum. So I think instead of here in West Virginia being accountable to his constituency, that trip did not bring jobs to West Virginia. That job did not do anything to improve quality of life in West Virginia. It did nothing to help 200 people who just lost their jobs in his district from NIOSH. So what was the reasoning for Riley Moore being on that trip? And I actually made a video and posted it onto my personal socials. about that, and then the SAVE Act as well, which if you aren't familiar with the SAVE Act, that would it's to keep what they're saying, people who are not citizens from voting, which we know we already have those systems in place, but that your name would have to match a birth certificate. Well, for those of us women who have gotten married and changed our last names, that's going to cost us, and that's going to cause an unnecessary burden, because we are going to have to either change our names back to our maiden names or not vote. So I asked a lot of questions about that. I wasn't really given sufficient answers, other than that the kid who answered the phone said he was going to go off script and say that he fully supported me being able to vote, and all women in West Virginia who were legally here. So that is on my personal socials, but you know, none of this is addressing any of these issues that are affecting West Virginians right now. And to have taken on a trip like that, of that magnitude and that exposure, and behaved, I'm sorry, I'll just say it, in a frat boy manner, giving a thumbs up and taking selfies in front of prisoners who have no choice but to be in his photos, is I take issue with.
Yeah, rightly so. Absolutely rightly so.
I may be getting fired by Danny after this meeting.
No, no, I'm not firing Mindy, just so everybody knows. She's perfectly safe. So just to recap, we've got some commentary on Riley Moore's trip and a couple of deliverables for y'all before the next time we meet in May. Those are coming by way of our national group, People's Action, of which we are an affiliate. We're pursuing that across a couple of different states. Mindy has been raising a little bit of hell about the SAVE Act, rightly so, and really attempting to pin down some information about what it will take and whether or not the changes have been made. And there seems to be a lot of confusion, even in Riley Moore's office, about what it will take to vote if you are a person who has changed your name. And Mindy mentioned that example applying to women who've been married and changed their name, but let us not forget that you can change your name for any reason, anytime. And particularly folks who are LGBTQ, who have changed their name, will also be affected, as well as folks who were adopted, who were in the foster system and were then adopted, or there's a million reasons that you would change your name, and this is disenfranchisement, and this is insane. So we've got the Riley Moore trip, we've got the SAVE Act, and then the big piece that I want to drive home really quick is that federal town hall. I've dropped that link in the chat. I'll drop it again. That is tomorrow evening. We've got some really impactful, amazing speakers. We've got Medicaid affected folks, some of them from this very group, which is why we get everybody together to kvetch about what's ailing us, because as it turns out, we can amplify each other's voices and build community and complain at the same time, right? So we've got some folks from this group who are going to be speaking, some friends who work in healthcare, who have worked in healthcare, who can speak to this from that side, and some folks for whom Medicaid has been a lifesaver, and they wouldn't be with us were it not for their Medicaid and their access to that kind of care. So I think it's going to be a very, very powerful event. And I will be monitoring the live stream. So folks, if you can't join us in Charleston, you're welcome to ask your questions through that live stream as well. Jan, I see your question down there, and it's going to be live on our Facebook, as well as the West Virginia Center on Budget and Policy, West Virginia Free, ACLU West Virginia, and there was one other. I'm a terrible
American
partner.
Friends.
American Friends, that's right, American Friends Service Committee. It's the usual suspects, those of us who get together about all that healthcare stuff. So check it out on any of our Facebooks. Mindy has done an amazing amount of work on this. We'd love it for you to come if you're close to Charleston, if you can get there. If you need, shoot me a text, and I can try to get you some gas money or try to hook you up with somebody who's driving in. But if you're not able, or coming out is not on the list of things you're able to do or willing to do right now, we totally understand, and hope you'll join us and ask your questions and share your comments via the chat or via the live stream. So I'll drop that link one more time. And this is also an invitation. If there are any other federal issues that you guys are interested in, we've got our eyes on a lot right now, but almost all of it has to do with budget reconciliation, I'll tell you. But please, this is the open space for the federal questions.
And I'm pulling up right now some, one, if I could talk, a way that you can participate and don't even have to leave the comfort of your home. We really want people to call Capito and Justice. We feel like Capito is the more movable, if someone is movable, of the two. But we don't want to leave Justice out of our ire because he deserves it. And so we want, people to call and call often for, to save Medicaid. People don't realize how many people in our state truly depend on it. Shayla, I see you have your hand up and would love to hear from you.
Hey, so forgive me if you said this and I missed it, because that's totally possible. Did you say that Capito and Justice are now saying that Medicaid will be cut? Are they admitting that now, or are they still like trying to like deflect and say, oh, well, Trump says that that's not going to happen?
No, Capito has mentioned it several times.
Okay.
In the press. So I can definitely try and find proof of that.
Yeah.
But I've seen that mentioned several times. And so I'm putting a little call card here. It's even got I can't talk today, sample script for you to use. And I'm encouraging you to call and call every day. And the reason that I'm doing that is that I want to light their phones up when they get back from this 2-week recess. I really want us to overwhelm their phone lines, because that is when they have to take notice. When we're overwhelming their staffs, they have to take notice. So let's see. Diana says, Riley Moore replied to my email saying it's not getting cut, that Trump has said over and over he won't touch Medicaid, Medicare, or Social Security. Yes, during the recess, you can definitely call locally. Those are great. Thank you, Shayla. I appreciate that.
I have an action request.
Yes, bring it.
I know that a lot of y'all are good to call. Not all of us love to call, right? But I know that this particular group really doesn't mind to heat up some phone lines. But I would like to request that you add to that. I am willing to buy you however many postcards you think you can fill up and prepay the postage on those daggone things so that you can mail a different message every day to each of your senators. I kid you not, postcards are not terribly expensive. And we have a decent budget to play with because protecting Medicaid is maybe the most important thing of all of our work right now. And I'm happy to say that. So I challenge you guys, the folks in this call right now, to have at least 2 postcard parties planned before this meeting is over. What do y'all think? Oh my gosh, where did those balloons come from? Well, the balloons are on my side too. I think we can do it. I see Shayla said, I'm so down to send postcards. Shayla, you guys have some real cute coffee shops up there in Morgantown. If I send you maybe 500, do you think you can get a couple people to each take a stack and pop them in the mail every day?
Oh, Shayla, Shayla, you and Paul and I can definitely do that. We're all local in Morgantown, so
Yeah, I'm
we
sure
can.
that we could do that. I think that
Yeah,
Becky would be down to like help with that
Oh,
too.
and Becky's here too. Yeah.
love
Oh,
it.
she
Yeah,
in here?
let's go.
And we're having a big meeting on Sunday, so I'll bring some back with me and we'll get going on that.
Sounds great.
So I've got Shayla, Becky, and Mindy on one.
And
See,
Paul, we're putting in Paul.
okay. Is Paul local? Oh, I know Paul. What am I
Yes,
doing?
you
Hi, Paul.
do.
It's good to see you. I didn't see your face. I'm terrible at names, but I do know Paul. Sorry, I'm the worst. All right, our Morgantown folks. Let's go. Morgantown killing it. I saw, let's see. Oh my gosh, somebody else. Rachel. Rachel says she's down for a postcard party. Rachel, where are you at? Can I send these to you? Can I text you in a minute and get your address so I can mail you a box postcards? Becky?
Oh,
Oh,
Rachel is
Diana.
in Preston County. Rachel, we can get you some. Don't worry. Yeah, we'll get you some.
All right. Diana
Eh,
in Brewston says, yes, let's do it. Andrea, oh, Andrea, my people, I'm in Huntington. Can we hang out at Grindstone up on top on a sunny day and just write snarky postcards and get the Huntington peeps in? Yeah, let's go. All right, thank you guys so much. Sorry, I had to talk through that. I wanted to make sure that I was getting consent from everybody, and I'm adding it to my notes over here on the other screen. I appreciate you. And never underestimate the power of being just a little bit annoying. I really, really love this approach. Thank y'all.
No,
Bug
I
'em.
want their offices flooded. I just want them flooded. You know, they say they don't hear from West Virginians and that they don't hear dissent. I want it to be something that they just cannot deny. And, you know, and I want it to come from us and you know, our hearts, and you know, we know who we are. We're West Virginians and we take care of each other. We don't let you know, our neighbors down. And every single one of us knows someone or has family or friends on Medicaid, whether we actually know that or not. 3 of my family members are on Medicaid and they work their tails off. They don't make enough or get enough hours to qualify through their employer, and they deserve health care. They deserve to, everyone in my eyes deserves health care. It is a human right. And so many children will be affected, Rachel. Absolutely. And families. It's just, it's just unconscionable to me that we would strip, you know, hundreds of thousands of people off of Medicaid, you know, when that's not really where as they're saying, fraud, waste, and abuse is. In West Virginia, they have an investigator in every county on fraud, waste, and abuse with Medicaid. And the majority, the largest chunk of fraud, waste, and abuse comes from provider error, and not necessarily error, sometimes fraud. So it's not someone who they don't think should be utilizing Medicaid. It's coming from higher up. And if they really want to get to the bottom of fraud, waste, and abuse, that's where they need to go. Danny is probably losing her mind at me today. I have lost all filter.
No,
so.
as it turns out, the reason that I hired Mindy is because I like to hear her get real fired up about things. I'm not wrong either.
Every day I'm like, am I really going to push myself out of a job after I fought so hard to get this one?
No, you're not. It's going to take a hell of a lot more than that.
Because
I did want to pause really quick here and let's hear from Jennifer before I do this weird little segue, because I do have something else to talk about. That's okay. Jennifer, if you don't mind, go ahead.
I just wanted to say I'm way out in the boondocks in Pendleton County. We are in active discussion with the folks at the Center for Budget and Policy. They will be coming on May 6th to our community to talk about the effects of changes to Medicaid. And one of the things that I would like to register with everybody is this is a ripple effect. This is not about the individual people who are on Medicaid. That matters. I'm not saying it doesn't. but I'm saying that we have a local clinic. I don't know what
Mhm.
percentage of its dollars come in via Medicaid, but I'm going to hazard a guess that it's on the order of 50%. We have a local nursing home. I know that theirs is on the order of 50%. Grant County has a hospital. It does belong to WVU, so it has a little bit more depth behind it. It is an award-winning hospital. I really don't know what they will have to cut. If Medicaid goes out, so then those things go out along with the jobs of all the people that
Yes.
are involved in those organizations. Now our local supermarket is having some trouble making a go of it, right?
Mhm.
All I'm saying is I think we really need to make sure that our talking points go way out beyond the individuals who are being served by Medicaid. And remember that this West Virginia gets something, we're going to be like the most affected state in the nation. And this isn't
100%.
just the people who happen to get their insurance. Okay, so I really encourage everybody, get these other talking points out there in the newspaper and in your community and make it very clear. This is, there are a few people, I'm not dependent on Medicaid personally myself, but I sure do like to get my medical care locally.
Mhm.
And I sure do like to be able to buy my groceries in my town where I live.
Amen.
And so on. So that's all I'm saying. It's everybody.
Yeah,
Th-
Jennifer, you're
Thank you for
exactly
that.
right.
Mhm.
Amen and thank you. And Paul also put in the chat, don't forget that nursing homes and rural hospitals will be affected by this as well. So this is going to touch on almost every aspect of our economy should the cuts come through. So this really is, this is the 5-alarm fire right now at the federal level with regard to healthcare for sure. And one of the biggest issues in the budget. Jennifer, is there anything else that you'd like to add? I'd like to
Not
pick your
really,
brain a little
just-
bit.
No, just that. I mean, I worked Dr. Seeger, John King Seeger, he's listed in the things. He worked at our local clinic. He was our medical director for many, many years. He and I are teaming up together to bring the Center for Budget and Policy folks here. But the bottom line is that when they get here and we tell everybody this, we can ask them to lean on our representatives, but even those messages to people like Capito and like Justice need to really spell out the ripple effect. This is potentially so devastating to West Virginia. It's like a dinosaur taking its foot and stomping it down on my house.
Absolutely.
Sorry to
yeah,
be
and
so cheerful about this, but I just think this is absolutely horrific. And I cannot believe that Capito is, changing the name of her tune.
Mhm.
And Riley Moore, I mean, nail him on this, it's stupid what he did, but just tell him, hey, meanwhile, you're off playing while your state is about to get burned up. Yeah,
Mhm.
right. Aren't you, we got to find somebody to run against that dude, that's for sure.
Hey, Jennifer, that was the best possible segue. So I'm just going to jump right in because this is what I was about to
Okay,
say.
go for it.
I want to let y'all know that CAG is a C4, not a C3. And those of y'all who don't work in nonprofits might think, well, what does that matter and why do I care? The answer is because we are a C4 and we are a chapter-based organization, we can participate in endorsements. And I don't know what everybody's baseline level of familiarity with that is, so I'm going to give like the most basic explanation just real quick. Sorry if it's redundant. I know some of you guys are old school politicos and know exactly what I'm talking about better than I do. But it is the process of our members getting together and developing a committee, submitting questions to all registered candidates and going through those questionnaires that are received. You can choose to interview or not interview, and then issuing an endorsement for those candidates. And that endorsement can go out to just a municipality, or it can go out to a whole county, or it can go out regionally if that's appropriate. And we are also interested in statewide endorsements. This is something that CAG has done in the past, but not in the recent past. It's been about 20 years since we flexed our endorsement muscles from what I've gathered. Don't quote me on that. I'm kind of new here. I've only been around since 2020. But I know we haven't been doing it while I've been around because we've been able to lean on our friends, the Working Families Party, for that. But alas, the Working Families Party has dissolved in West Virginia. And so we are left, it was sort of a strategic decision that as one of the few remaining C4s, and especially as a C4 with a membership base like we have, thanks to you guys who show up to these things, that we would like to get back into that endorsement process. We've established a handful of local chapters. 2 of them are all in on endorsements. Morgantown, I'm going to keep leaning on y'all till we get there. But I would really like all of us to work together to think about strategically how to move policy and how to move the people that we need into places where we can move policy. And really, really lean on the idea of co-governance, which means that we are electing people who are part of our movement who will govern with us and for us. But with us is the most important part, co-governing with the people. That is a quality that we are not seeing across the state. And I know it feels unwinnable, but I promise you guys, it is absolutely not, especially if we start taking chunks out of it at the local level first. So this is me gently pitching to y'all that you start thinking about some questions that you might like to ask local and statewide candidates relating to healthcare and your particular special interests, and that maybe that's a cool way for you to deepen your involvement with CAG, to get a little closer to the electoral process and start helping out in the knockdown, drag out fight for endorsements and getting folks elected. That's my pitch.
And Jennifer has her hand raised. Yes, Jennifer.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't know. Yes?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, if you don't know who this man is, check out Zach Shrewsbury. I'll vote for him anywhere, anytime.
Zach used to work for us.
Furthermore,
we got Zach.
Okay. All right. But the thing is that we also need we need to be working on a platform that talks, and I'll just put myself out there. The guy that tells the platform every day is Bernie Sanders, if you ask me, but so does Zach. And, we just need to start repeating and repeating and repeating that this is what West Virginia needs. This is what West Virginians need. And get that talk stuff out there. Because right now, we're, whatever, sorry.
You're feeling the way I do, Jennifer. Lost for words.
This is a safe space for yelling, and we love it. But it sounds like I've got a couple of volunteers already to start working on the platform, and we want to do this work now, well in advance of the next round of elections. But a gentle reminder that Capito is up for re-election. Do we realistically have enough power built to challenge her? I would argue probably not at this moment. But I'm also a big believer in defining what winning means when you're running elections, especially in deep red states. And sometimes that doesn't mean securing the actual position. It means building a base and using it as a platform to keep building more and more power. So yeah, I would like to gently ask Carol, who I know is in on this already, and Jennifer, and anybody else who's interested, to hit me up in the chat. And we would love to start a separate little group chat, maybe an email thread now, that will hopefully operationalize itself into a full-on platform committee, because this is something we're very, very serious about. And it's a long-term plan, right? But it is possible to win locally now, and we should be. Jennifer, take it away.
Well, only just, Capito being up for re-election, we need to hound her. This is utterly ridiculous. And she is betraying her state, and we need to get that out on the public airwaves over and over and over and over again.
Agreed.
Sorry, I'm boring.
No. I mean, it's the same line I've been, we need to be on her phones daily. Absolutely daily. And I just want to encourage you. Carol said that Zach Shrewsbury is speaking at a group meeting that she's the chair and I'm a member, go to, and he'll be speaking. So and she put her contact information out there. So please reach out to her. and find out the information and get the link to that meeting so you can listen to Zach if you have not heard him speak. He is a boots on the ground individual, and I just adore him as a human being. So I fully endorse him. Again, that's just me.
Yeah, Zach was one of our canvassers for the New Jobs Coalition, which is climate, healthcare, and a handful of other things. So we're real proud of Zach, and we're not endorsing him at this moment, but as a human being, as just a person, I would endorse Zach wholeheartedly. And I hope he fills out the questionnaire and submits to his interview. And I hope he'll choose to run for something soon. Keep building power, by all means. All right, we've got 5 minutes left, Mindy. I'm hands
Yes,
off. That's
we
all
have
the things
5
I wanted
minutes
to do.
left. As I have been working on this town hall and coming out of the legislative coma, I forgot to do my my monthly evaluation form. So if you just want to take a second, if you're able to, just put 1 or 2 words about how you're feeling about today's meeting, if you got something out of it, if you felt it was worthwhile, or if you think I need to go back to the drawing board and cut the comedy act, tone down my rage. Put that in the comments just so we know how we're doing. If you have something you want to me to investigate and plan for the May meeting, put that in there. We want you to be involved. These are your meetings. They are meetings for you, and that would be beneficial to you. So, definitely put those in there so that we can improve. I just want to constantly improve. If it's worth doing, it's worth evaluating. So I want to be a person. Thank you, Jody. We appreciate you. Appreciate the support and taking actions and providing postcards. Absolutely.
Yeah, so many of you guys are going to get phone calls and emails from us. You might get 2 or 3 about different things.
Might take you to lunch.
Yeah, hey, I might just show up and ask you to hang out, buy some coffee. But just to warn you, you will hear back from us because Mindy's going to send a wrap-up email, and then we're going to follow up on each of these individual asks because we've gotten a hell of a lot of great commitments, and we're really excited about moving forward with a lot of these pieces. So thank you guys. We are a member organization. The stuff that we do is in your name, and we want to make sure, 1, that you agree with it, and 2, that you've got our backs too. So we don't want to do it alone. And we don't want to speak for anybody necessarily without consent. So yeah, let's hang out more. See you guys.
Great. Now I want to respect everyone's time. I always say I'm keeping this to an hour no matter what. So I think you guys are all wonderful. I appreciate you showing up over and over again. And, I hope you'll keep coming back. We do these monthly, every 3rd Wednesday. Our climate committee meetings are every 2nd Wednesday of the month. So, watch our socials for those links. Or, we do send them out to our mailing list as well. So make sure you're on our mailing list. And, just appreciate all of you. So thank you. Have a good evening. Go enjoy your families. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
I'm just hanging out in case anybody had more questions.
Yeah, same.
Is the chat going to save automatically? Because I feel like even trying to keep up with it, I might have lost a few important pieces.
I think it does. And I record, well, it wouldn't show up in the meeting. I did record it, but I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah, I've gotten some good